The FIA is going through it right now. Not only are the drivers attacking them for setting strange and childish rules, they're also collapsing from the inside. This year, the FIA and its president Ben Sulayem have received heat and major backlash, and it resulted in dozens of employees leaving, most notably senior ranks employees. But what happened this week is even worse. This week, the FIA has announced that Niels Wittich, Formula One race director, has resigned effective immediately. So, everything might change from the Las Vegas Grand Prix onwards. On Tuesday, the FIA announced that the German had resigned his job ahead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix to pursue new opportunities. The FIA can confirm that Niels Wittich has stepped down from his position as F1 race director to pursue new opportunities, the organization's statement said. Niels has fulfilled his numerous responsibilities as race director with professionalism and dedication. We thank him for his commitment and we wish him the best for the future. Rui Marques of Portugal, who has served as race director for F2 and F3 for the previous 2 years, will succeed Wittich, beginning in Las Vegas. Rui Marques will assume the role of race director from the Las Vegas Grand Prix, according to the FIA. Rui brings a wealth of experience, having previously served as track marshal, scrutineer, national and international steward, deputy race director and race director in various championships. Most recently, he held the position of Formula 2 and Formula 3 race director. Wittich has been F1's race director since 2022, taking over from Michael Masi following the controversial end to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2021. Wittich originally split the post with FIA WEC race director Eduardo Freitas until taking up the position full-time later that year. Previously, the 52-year-old German served as a race director for the German DTM Championship. The unexpected announcement comes with 3 races remaining in the current season, and it means F1 will now have its 4th race director since Charlie Whiting's death on the eve of the 2019 Australian Grand Prix. Speaking earlier this year, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem admitted that the governing body is already struggling to find qualified race directors like Wittich, and that the FIA would establish a new officials department to help train the next generation of race directors and stewards. If you look at our officials and race directors, we have an issue, and the issue is that we don't have enough race directors, Ben Sulayem said. You cannot order them on Amazon or Google. No, you have to make them. You have to train them. One thing is certain, the late-season resignation of the Formula One race director is an unusual occurrence for the FIA. During Mohammed Ben Sulayem's contentious leadership, prominent roles in his company have changed often, including sporting director Steve Nielsen, technical director Tim Goss, and CEO Natalie Robin. Niels Wittich, the race director, has now joined the list. Little about it makes sense, but all clues point to a sudden breakdown, maybe between Wittich and Ben Sulayem himself. The timing is off, with just 3 races left in 2024. It is also certainly a very unexpected exit, since it has been reported to have taken people in the FIA and F1 by surprise. And there has been no evident pressure for this to happen, unlike Wittich's predecessor, Michael Masi, who was mired in problems in 2021, culminating in the events of the Abu Dhabi season finale and the restart call, which had a direct impact on the championship conclusion. Wittich's tenure as race director has not been marred by flashpoints. He has been an understated official, and while this does not ensure that he has done a good job, he does not have an evident controversial reputation, much alone a bad one. It's also not a situation the FIA would like to put a new race director in. 3 races remaining may be viewed as a good opportunity to prepare for full-time work next year, but there is still 1 title, maybe 2, on the line, so the smooth running of the next 3 events is critical. Pressure can still be a role in these last moments. Everyone in Formula One needs a calm, experienced mind in race control. Wittich appeared to offer that. So, did he leap, or was he pushed? If it had been the former, it would have been foreshadowed more, rather than coming as a surprise to numerous parties. And when something as unexpected and perplexing as this occurs, it frequently indicates a conflict between persons, and Wittich, Ben Sulayem friction is likely. According to reports, Wittich stated that he had not resigned, implying that an abrupt firing happened. The question is why? The FIA and Ben Sulayem have come under scrutiny, despite the fact that the race director has retreated into the background. There has been criticism on a variety of problems, both immediately connected to trackside difficulties, such as racing regulations and track limitations, and larger themes, such as the Grand Prix Drivers Association denouncing the FIA's treatment of driver misconduct, also known as cursing during press conferences. Wittich will undoubtedly have engaged in discussions with the drivers on all of this, including the swearing problem at driver briefings on Grand Prix weekends. And it is well known that not all of Ben Sulayem's employees support his views or actions. Perhaps they differed on certain issues. According to the BBC, Wittich was already slated to be dropped, and his early departure is a result of his relationship with Ben Sulayem. While it is informed speculation at this point, no more plausible reason exists than another high-profile FIA person falling out of favour with the present administration. The firing comes shortly after Ben Sulayem created further controversy ahead of the Singapore Grand Prix by calling for a ban on swearing, with penalties imposed on Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. The sanctions were received with a highly worded statement by the drivers' organisation GPDA, which encouraged the governing body's president to reconsider his attitude. It's clear to see that the FIA president Mohammed Ben Sulayem is on a collision path with Formula One drivers, causing a worse problem than the one he thought needed to be fixed. And firing Wittich is just one of the problems, as the drivers have also hit out at the FIA president. The long-awaited Grand Prix Drivers Association statement on driver misconduct, which is entirely about the FIA's Ben Sulayem-led cursing ban, pulls few punches. It is rather a dramatic turn of events to have the F1 drivers' body call out Ben Sulayem individually, rather than merely target general FIA conduct, and openly raise one of the most oft-repeated concerns in motorsport. Where do all the FIA penalties actually go? The cursing ban began in September, when Max Verstappen was sentenced to community service for using a single curse word during an FIA press conference in Singapore. It has always been viewed as a Ben Sulayem crusade, so this is nothing new. Yet, being directly recognised by the drivers and having his own conduct highlighted in the process leaves him with nowhere to go. The question is whether he is capable of accepting this, or will respond in a way that escalates the situation further. The GPDA statement effectively addresses the core issue. By and large, many people agree with the notion of swearing less. Some individuals see words as just words, while others believe they carry more weight. There will probably never be a unanimous consensus on whether cursing is bad or a problem, but many who believe it doesn't really matter are happy with limiting flagrant use of bad language. The issue has been how Ben Sulayem's FIA has carried out its crusade. Making drivers an example is a heavy-handed approach that has transformed a potentially beneficial idea into an unneeded spectacle. Verstappen was publicly chastised for this, and he retaliated in kind with a news conference protest in Singapore. However, a collective response from the group that represents all Formula One drivers goes a step further. Without a question, the FIA president has a talent for stirring up controversy, and while he may become defensive, as he has in the past, when blaming the media for convicting him, some self-reflection is vitally needed given that he is likely to stay in the post without opposition. It is untenable for the FIA, F1, and motorsport as a whole for one person to be in perpetual battle with its competitors, especially the more prominent ones. There are even individuals in Ben Sulayem's organisation who disagree with his methods, much alone how he implements them. And the GPDA statement is a highly public example of a very important body taking its own issue. Like Verstappen in Singapore, the Drivers' Association has chosen to fight fire with fire. You come at us publicly, we'll come right back. If Ben Sulayem is actually committed to tolerance and transparency, rather than simply imposing his own principles or attempting to increase the FIA's power base, he should strive to mediate the issue. But it can't happen unless, as the GPDA clearly suggests, he acknowledges his role in the problem. And with the latest heads rolling at the FIA, it won't take long before Ben Sulayem himself is out. Don't you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.